Welcome. This is a tutorial on Wonder's online platform from the student point of view. First things first, you will go to the website my.mheducation.com/login, and it will bring you to this page where you will input your student's username and password. So I would recommend bookmarking this either on their um, the computer or as well as their tablet so that they can easily access this um, anytime they need it. Once they are logged in, they will come to this page where they will see their Wonders book, and they will need to click on the button where it says launch right here. Once your student clicks the launch button, they will come to what is the Wonders home page. As you can see here at the bottom, it says High Sample Students, so you'll know that it's your students by their name being there. It'll have the weekly concept, so pretty much what the that weekly concept will be. So for right now, it says Start Smart because that's what you will see the first week of Wonders, and then you probably will also be able to see the essential question for our Wonders reading unit for that week. Here we're going to go through each one of these. We're going to start first with the to-do items. As you can see, the check mark, it's just kind of a symbol of these are the items that need to be done. As you can see, the number 6, that indicates that they have 6 assignments that are due. So once they click on the to-do list, they will come to this page here, which over here where it says my to-do list, they will have any assignments that are due, as in you can also see that it has the due date as well. And so for example, interactive read aloud, which is a story, and they will come over here and they will be able to open up the interactive read aloud and either read it on their own independently or read along with the teacher, whatever they are instructed to do. This is where they will find that. And this is also pretty much what you would consider their binder. So this is where they'll find any of their items that need to be done. So this page is the same page as the to-do list, their binder. I just wanted to zoom in so you can see the other features here. As you can see, it says note to teacher. This feature is optional, but your child can make a comment to the teacher so that we can see it. They can ask a question about the story or the lesson. They can make a comment on what they thought about the story or anything like that. They would put that in this box, but again, they don't have to put anything here, but know that that is a way to communicate any questions they may have. Once your student completes an assignment or task, it's super important that they click the submit button. The submit button allows us to see as teachers on our end that they indeed completed the task. Even if it's just them having to read the story, and not necessarily doing an activity, they still need to click submit so that we know that they in fact actually read the story. So it's important that they click this submit button. So once your student clicks the submit button and completed an assignment, they can come over here and it will show up as a check mark. So this will allow them to know what they have completed and what they have not completed. So as you can see, one item has been done now, and then all of these other items are considered not done yet because they do not have a check by them. On this page is just an example of one of the stories that they may have assigned to them to read. This is one of our literature anthology stories. And as they go through the stories, they'll see little buttons like the little speakerphone. That means it will say it will do, it will read it to them. And super important down here where you can see the highlighted where it looks like a little note page. If they click this button, it allows them to respond and answer questions from the text. So for example, my binder, it gives them a question, summarize, use important details about the character, setting, and events to summarize the story. They can type into this box, and then once they have finished that, they will be able to click the submit button. As you can see on this page, there are two uh, my binder questions that they are able to respond to, and indeed just get better with answering questions. So, as we just talked about on the last page, when they're able to click the little notepad symbol and they're able to respond in the text, the same question is here. If they click my work, they'll be able to see if they did a response to reading. So, for example, it was the same summarized question, use important details about the character, setting, and events to summarize the story. And as you can see down here, your response, this is what they wrote. They all became friends. So that's just something I wrote in there. So just know that they're able to see what they have responded to in the story. And they can continue to actually edit their response here as well. So if they were to click into this box, they'd be able to type anything or add any additional thoughts to it from this page. And back to our home base, where you can see now I went down from 6 activities to 3. So now we're going to look at this cube where it says the W on it. This box is words to know. So basically, it's pretty, I guess, exactly what it says, words to know. But in this example, there are no vocabulary words for this week. But once we get into our very first official week of wonders, I would assume that vocabulary words will show up here that are for that week of the words. Next, we have our writing tab. So we're going to talk about that. So for writing, one of the things about writing, it's a little different because we don't utilize the Wonders writing portion of its curriculum because we second grade and up uses Top Score as for our writing curriculum. However, this is an amazing resource and tool to utilize though, because it does give many lessons on different things such as ideas, organization, word choice, and it's usually focused around that week's of wonders lessons. So this is definitely still a great resource to utilize to get supplements with writing, although we use Top Score heavily. And but this is still an amazing resource to utilize. So know that it is there for your usage. We're going to move right along to our games tab and just kind of talk about what that looks like. So here on this page, this is an example of a type of game that could be assigned through our Wonders curriculum. It's an alphabet activity. So for example, if you don't know what you're doing, it is a great idea if you click this question mark, the help button, it will give you exactly the instructions on what this activity looks like. So for example, this activity is you select a card, you can click the music to hear the letter song, click the button again to stop the music. It just kind of gives you an overview of kind of how to interact with the game of assignments. Finally, we have our last little tab from our homepage, which is the Read tab, and we'll look at kind of what that could look like. So, for example, this week's read. So here it's hard to kind of give an example, but there are no books assigned for this week because again, this is the Start Smart week, which is the very first beginning of our Wonders curriculum. So we haven't even jumped into Unit 1, Week 1 quite yet. So when we get into that, you may find some books that are assigned for that week in this section. Getting into some of the other beneficial tools from our home page is up here. If you see the ABC symbol, This symbol indicates the glossary for students to find the words in their lessons. So this is what the glossary will look like. They will be able to click on a word that they maybe don't remember what it is. So for example, if they wanted to know what aloud is, they would click on aloud. It would take them to see what that word means. And as you can see, all the letters are up here. So if they need a word, I don't know, relationship, they'd go to R, and then it would give them the list of the R's. It works just like a glossary in their Wonders back of their Wonders book. So pretty cool resource to use as well. Moving into our resources tab, this is where you can find pretty much an array of resources within the Wonders curriculum. So it's super cool, but could be a lot. So one of the cool resources that I think would be an awesome tool for students to utilize is the level readers section, which will bring up basically a lot of books that are a lot of our level readers books, and they are color coded by orange, green, blue, and purple. And this is something that your student, once they are leveled at the beginning of the year and they get that information from their teacher, they'd be able to come to this section and look for a book that they want to read that's, in their designated color. So for example, let's say you can read any book, the books with the blue strips. So then they could read this book, Families at Work, and then they need to read this version of People Helping the Whales, because that would be their level of ability to read. And of course, they have games, skill practice, just and again, an array of resources that you can go through and play with and see, what speaks to you, and maybe if they want to use that. But for the students, I personally feel like leveled readers would be the best thing to pull from this section. And to wrap up our Wonders tutorial for our students platform, I forgot to say this is where you would click resources, but this is where you would click resources, which would take you to the page we just came from. In order to go back to the very beginning where we had to launch our page, you could click global dashboard, and that literally takes you back out of this, back to the very first part of the login page where you had to click the launch button. Obviously you can search the search engine. It's just, you can search. And I think that is all. Again, welcome sample student. You'll know if you're logged into the correct account because it'll say their name. And then when you're done, you can just click log out. So before I go, I do want to briefly mention that there is a mobile Connect Ed app that you can download onto your mobile devices, iPads, phones, and I'm going to show you kind of what that looks like on those devices. So for your phone, this is what it would look like, at least on an iPhone. This is the mobile app. It'll show you this. It'll show you your courses, and it has your student edition book. And down here at the bottom, it has the to-do, kind of what we saw on the other home page of the website. And then once you click the to-do, this list over here, it'll say assignments will come up. And again, we can see the check mark for items that are completed, no check mark for those that are not. When we want to look at one of the assignments, for example, the interactive read aloud, we would click it. It'll bring us to this page over here. From the phone app, it does not give us the capability to make comments. So this is the comment that was made from the website, but there is no capability of doing that from the telephone app. And then you are able to click on the interactive read aloud and read that. And on this page, we have just a view of what the interactive read aloud would look like. Of course, you can press the zoom in button where you see the little magnifying glass to bring up one visual of the story at a time. And they can click the play button and it'll read the story aloud to them. And they can click stop at any time to stop it, jot down anything, and then play it again. And they can listen to it as many times as they want. Here we have another assignment. This would be like the literature anthology story, which are usually our longer stories. LA means literature anthology. However, on the mobile phone, again, this is an iPhone that I'm using, you cannot pull up the literature anthology on that device. However, you are able to pull it up on an iPad or I would assume a tablet as well. Another assignment under the to-dos would be like any of the games. You are able to pull games up on your mobile phone device in the app. And again, this is just another example of our reader writer workshop story, which is usually the shorter story of the week. You again are not able to pull up the story on your mobile device, but you are able to pull it up on your iPad or I would assume a tablet as well. Again, you can click submit on the phone just like you can online, and you can click submit as well on the iPad. So that wraps up pretty much a overview of our mobile abilities of Wonders the Connect Ed. It does have its limitations, so please keep that in mind. Of course, the website would be have the most capabilities, and you have limited capabilities using the iPhone or the mobile phone and your tablet. Of course, you have a little less capabilities using the phone than you do the iPad. So that wraps everything up. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate. You can reach out to me at adavis@kidscc.org. That is for Ashley Davis. So I can try to assist you and support in any way that I can. Thank you guys for watching. I hope that this platform is as flawless and seamless as possible, and that you guys find great ease and use with it. Thank you.